What's up, family? Great to see you once again. Cam Smith riding with my guy, 5th overall pick of the 1990 NBA draft, and also 13-year NBA vet, Kendall Gill. KG, it's great to see you, my man, on a very special night for this Bulls organization.
Very special night, and the Bulls have taken a step, I believe, in the right direction. Now, Bryson Graham, we're in the Bryson Graham era
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I think that he has 2 solid picks for his first draft.
Yeah.
Of course, we've all heard about Caleb Wilson for weeks, but Dailyn Swain, I didn't think that he was even on the radar.
Same.
But this, I believe, is a solid pick. One of those guys, athleticism, can shoot the basketball, can play both sides of the ball offensively and defensively, and also 2 guys that have a little bit of nastiness to them.
Yes, yes.
And that's what I like most.
Some go-getters. And so when you hear that from a guy that played 15 years in the NBA from Kendall Gill, and also one of the better defenders in his time, that lets you know that Bryson Graham, this era that we're in, along with head coach 𝗭•they have a theme going. And they want to make sure that they hold down both ends, but especially on the defensive end, KG. So that should be encouraging for a lot of Bulls fans.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the way that OKC structured their team when they won a championship 2 seasons ago. You look at the way that the San Antonio Spurs structured their team this year. All those guys, 6'5" to 6'8", long, rangy, can guard both sides of the ball, can knock down the three-point shot. It seems like these guys are prototypical guys that you're going to get to try to make a championship run or build your team. This seems like this is the way that most NBA teams are going. And also, the Indiana Pacers, a couple years ago, too, were built the exact same way with these type of players.
And also the New York Knicks, the reigning NBA champions now. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. You have switchability with those guys at the 4 position. Athletic guys that can really switch 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 5, depending on if you're playing some small ball. But the gem of this draft tonight for the Bulls, there he is, the 4th overall pick in Caleb Wilson. And this is just the 6th time in Bulls franchise history the organization has had the 4th pick in a NBA draft. And ironically, everyone, you know, their last 4th pick overall was Patrick Williams, another forward. But this year, they welcomed Wilson, who just averaged just over 19 points and 9 rebounds a game for North Carolina last season, before he injured his thumb, which kept him out for the last 9 games. But when you look at his numbers and what the accolades were attached at the end of the season, 2nd team All-American KG, 1st team All-ACC honors for a 19-year-old freshman.
Yeah, and listen, you remember that part in The Last Dance when Rod Thorne said, "We are very lucky that the Olympics were after the draft."
Yeah.
Because had the Olympics been before the draft, we never would have been in the position to draft Michael Jordan. I think that the Bulls were lucky that Caleb did not play in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Had he played in the NCAA tournament, I believe that he possibly could have gone 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because, and I got to give Cam Smith credit, you guys. He was the one that put me on to this guy.
Hey, you know what, KG? I don't toot my own
He's the one that
horn,
put
man.
me on to Caleb Wilson, you guys. Because I had no idea this guy was this good before I watched film on him. Reminds me of a young Shawn Kemp, the best finisher in this class at the basket. And he's going to, and you heard him in his post-draft interview saying that, listen, I've been working on my jump shot too. Okay, and the reason why people didn't think that he could shoot is because he wasn't asked to. He was just asked to get the basketball mid-range and score a bucket. But you saw he had all the intangibles. He can put the ball on the floor. He can rebound it. He can finish strong. Now the next evolution of his game is to step out beyond the three-point arc and be a consistent shooter from there.
Well, Caleb Wilson is now the 3rd player in Bulls franchise history to be drafted out of the University of North Carolina. The previous guy, you know him, Kobe White. And then the first guy was some guy named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I don't know how his career panned out, but it sounded like he was a pretty decent player.
He was an okay player.
Yeah. Of course, he's the GOAT, man. He's got the statue right over here in the 𝗦cie shooting show. But KG, the thing about Wilson that really, for me, caught my eye was his footwork. He's very fluid in his footwork, whether it's on the perimeter or especially catch and face, right? His face-up game is something that really stood out to me. He can beat you off the dribble with that athleticism, but he has a nice touch with his turnaround jumper as well, which would for sure at this level, you're going to need that part of your game at 6'10".
Absolutely. He really does have all of the footwork that you talked about, which makes him twice as hard to guard. Now, you take a guy that can get the basketball mid-post right there, has the footwork, has the ability to get to the basket, and now you talked about his touch. Now he can go to 15 to 18 feet, knock down that shot, and when he starts to develop that, the next evolution, as I mentioned before, is the three-point shot. He is going to be a matchup nightmare in a couple of years to come.
Yeah, man. Scary hours for some opponents when you have Caleb Wilson on one wing, 𝗻𝗂 𝗟𝗏 on the other. Just watch your head, everybody, because you're going to be on part of someone's highlight there. Now, Caleb Wilson had a chance to speak with media members here in Chicago after he was selected 4th overall, and he spoke to media members about what his expectations are and what he hopes to bring to this Bulls organization.
Man, I have a lot to learn, but I'm going to be a very effective player from day one. So I just want to know what they expect from me and how to accept coaching from our new coach, Coach Splitter. And I mean, my fit on the team is going to be, I'm just going to go hard, man. Honestly, I'm going to make it happen. Whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do it and more. So I'm just going to make it happen.
Wilson is expected to strengthen the Bulls front court that underwent some changes during last season's trade deadline. The departure of Nikola Vucevic. The Bulls made a trade yesterday bringing in Nick Claxton from the Brooklyn Nets. We'll break that down in a little bit later of the show, everyone. But Wilson, he's expected to make an immediate impact at the 4 spot. It's a position previously held by Patrick Williams and also Jalen Smith. But when you have someone at 19 years old, and KG, we touched on what he can do on the offensive end, but more so on the defensive end with Caleb Wilson and what he can bring. The athleticism helps, but also it's his timing on the defensive end as well. We've seen him time and time again. If you watched him live with North Carolina last year, he's a chase down block type guy. He's a rotate guy that can be able to stop the basketball or stop the play with the block at a high position.
Yeah, and like I said, it goes back to what the NBA is moving to now. You can't just be able to score the basketball. You have to be able to defend as well. That's something that Caleb brings to the table. And the one thing that I love about him that I really didn't see in too many of the other guys that got drafted tonight, he has ultimate confidence.
Yes.
He says, hey, I'm going to, the way that he was walking on the stage, the way that he was chewing his gum, I was checking out all the body languages, the signals and everything. This is a confident kid that feels like he is the best player in the draft. Felt like he should go number 1. That's what I like most about him. And I love also that he says, I'm willing to accept the coaching, and I am going to come in to camp, and I am going to go hard right away.
It's the mentality that, for me, sets him apart from a lot of different players. Of course, every single player in this draft, KG, feels that they should have went number 1 overall.
They do.
It's one way to feel about that, but then it's another thing to really fully believe that you're the number 1 overall pick. And that's what Caleb Wilson believes. He believes that he is that best player in the draft, to your point. But going back to this past season, college basketball season, it was right before the season fully began. He had a media interview where they were speaking on, after his first couple of games of why this wasn't really seen in the McDonald's All-American game in terms of what he was able to do, his explosiveness, how he was scoring the basketball, how he was dunking, how he was defending. But more so on the offensive end, his answer to that was, I didn't get the basketball. They didn't give me the basketball. But he also had a list of names for guys that he really wanted to go at throughout this college basketball season, and we've seen it against Kentucky, against Michigan State, of course, against Duke, and Cam Boozer, who went 3rd overall to the Memphis Grizzlies. Outplayed those guys, and it was clear that he was the best player on the floor. So when you have that type of mentality, you're NBA ready, and you know this better than anyone, KG. It's about the mentality more so than the physical skills.
No, you're NBA ready, and that's why a lot of people consider him the best player in this draft. Yes, A.J. DeBonza went number 1, and Cam Boozer, of course, went before him, and also Peterson. But as you said, Cam, about to me 3 or 4 months ago, that this guy is the best player in the draft. And I go back, I watch the film on him, and I agree with Cam. I'm surprised, honestly, that after all of the workouts, after all of the things that they did with Caleb, that he fell to the Bulls at number 4. I actually woke up this morning thinking somebody was going to take him before the Bulls.
I was worried too. I was worried too.
I was really worried, but I am happy now that things panned out that the way that they did, because I think that he is a cornerstone piece that you build your franchise around, along with 𝗦𝗫 𝗬𝟒.
And another potential piece for this Bulls team was 15th overall pick Dailyn Swain out of the University of Texas. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll get into Dalen and what he's going to help with this Bulls team and what he's going to bring on the NBA level. We'll get into that. We'll get into Nic Claxton becoming a Chicago Bull. And, of course, we got our Bulls insider, K.C. Johnson, that's going to join us on the show. Keep it locked right here for more Bulls Draft Night Live. Welcome back to Bulls Draft Night Live, presented by Calamos. Great to see everybody once again. Cam Smith with my man Kendall Gill as we continue on with this conversation of the Bulls picks. There are 2 picks in the first round of the first day of the NBA Draft Night. 2 is tomorrow with the second round, KG, but getting to the 15th overall pick with this Bulls team, there are a number of different names that the Bulls could have went with that pick. I was big on LeBaron Philon. I was thinking maybe Morez Johnson could have went at 15, but he went 9, but the Bulls settled on Dailyn Swain out of Texas. And the more you do your research on Dailyn Swain, the more you like him, because the Bulls are able to secure this pick off of this year's draft by the Portland Trail Blazers. Thank you, 𝗂𝗏𝗎. And Dailyn Swain is one of those guys coming off his best collegiate season, averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, but also 54% shooting from the field. KG, big body guy defensively, can really make it tough for you.
Yeah, and listen, I have a bone to pick with the league. Stop measuring these guys in their bare feet. This guy is 6'7" with his shoes on.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, that's what you measure with when you get on the floor and you play with your shoes on. Stop measuring these guys in their bare feet. But listen, at 6'7", he averaged 17 points a game, and as you mentioned, can rebound, can play both sides of the ball. This is a Bryson Graham type player.
Yes.
This is a player that we just mentioned before, how the OKC Thunder built their championship team, how the San Antonio Spurs built their championship contending team, and how the New York Knicks built their championship team.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of guys that can score the basketball, give you ultimate effort on both sides of the ball, and defend 3 or 4 positions, and now your team becomes really competitive very, very quickly.
Just some young go-getters, right?
Yeah.
They just want to get after it. And it's not just because they're young, they're being drafted into the NBA. But if you look at Wilson, but especially when we're talking about Dailyn Swain at Texas, led them in scoring. And when you look at how he was able to lead them to the Sweet 16 against Purdue, lost by a couple of points, but you saw he was always in attack mode, especially downhill with those big shoulders, but defensively was able to help out as well. And it wasn't just a scoring, KG, rebounding the basketball, assisting as well.
Yeah, does everything, stuffs the stat sheet. Those are the type of players that coaches love, because if they have an off night shooting the basketball, you know that they're not going to suffer in any other category. You know that they're not going to disappear, and they will be able to be productive if you leave them on the floor. He's that exact type of player.
Yeah, well, KG, you know someone that doesn't have an off night. I've never seen them have an off night in my life. Is our Bulls insider, K.C. Johnson, who joins us over from the Advocate Center. K.C., great to see you and making this thing a big 3, my man. I can see the smile on your face, and we were talking over the Advocate Center of just the energy that was in the building. Just give me your first impressions on the Bulls' first day of the 2026 NBA Draft.
Well, I think they knocked it out of the park in terms of, you know, the qualities that Bryson Graham laid out at his introductory news conference. It was clear they were going to take whichever player fell to them at number 4, and it was also pretty clear that player was going to be Caleb Wilson. And I can just tell you, I mean, we've all seen it now, but that, you know, short media availability we had with Caleb Wilson via video conference call. I mean, this is a guy who, I don't want to already start making the Caleb Williams comparisons, but like he's going to embrace being one of the faces of this franchise. He said, I'm hungry. I want to be one of the greatest of all time. So this is a guy that's very comfortable, very confident. And then as far as Dailyn Swain, I mean, you guys have been just breaking down his game a little bit. He's got the potential to be a very, very good two-way player. Again, the qualities that Bryson Graham laid out in terms of two-way players, high IQ, high character. Dailyn Swain fits all those pretty much to a T. So obviously they're young and they've got to go through some growing pains, but I can tell you there's a certain excitement within the Bulls front office right now with landing 2 of their guys.
Casey, is Caleb Wilson a starter day 1?
I think you got to start him. I mean, next season's not about winning a championship, right? So, I mean, I guess we don't know 𝗂𝗏𝗎𝗍 and his view on entitlement minutes or what have you. But even, you know, you throw away entitlement minutes, he fills a need. You can slide Modest to the 3. you can start Jalen Smith or the pending Nick Claxton acquisition at the 5. I absolutely think he's the starting power forward on day one.
Well, KC, let's get into that Nick Claxton conversation, man, because I didn't see this coming. A lot of people didn't see this coming with the move from Bryson Graham and the front office of bringing in Nick Claxton. They didn't trade a player. They didn't give up any draft capital, and you get one of the better bigs in the league that can defend the rim and especially get up and down. So your impressions and thoughts on what the Bulls can get with Nick Claxton?
Well, it's just, again, fulfilling Bryson Graham's vision that he laid out at his introductory news conference. He was flat out asked about owning the largest amount of cap space in the league, and he said there's different ways to use cap space, and it's essentially a free agent signing because they just use cap space to absorb his contract. I do think Nick Claxton's game has regressed a little bit the last couple of years. There are some questions about his back and how that impacts his shot blocking and rebounding ability. But I will also say he's going to be playing with a much better point guard situation here in Chicago, and he's going to be away from the Nets, who are actively trying to lose. So it's going to be a healthier situation for him here. And obviously has worked with Thiago Splitter for 4 seasons in Brooklyn. Thiago started his coaching career there, so there's a connection right there. So it's a pretty cheap flyer on a guy that can be a stopgap, starting caliber center for the next 2 seasons.
Casey, we all know Billy Donovan loved pace of play, pushing the basketball up, spreading it around. What style of play do you think Thiago Splitter would bring to Chicago?
Well, at his introductory news conference, Kendall, he talked about playing to your personnel's strengths. And with the drafting of Dailyn Swain, who is an elite wing runner and likes to attack in transition, and then obviously Caleb Wilson, who's a walking, dunking highlight film, you're going to want to probably play fast. That's how 𝗵 Giddey prefers to play. That's how Tre Jones prefers to play. That's how 𝗦𝗻cie 𝗰𝗶𝗹 prefers to play. He likes to run up and down the floor. And then you've got Claxton as a great rim runner. And Jalen Smith can be a trail big when he's out there. Modest, we know what he can do in transition. So yeah. I think you got to play fast. I don't know Thiago Splitter very well yet, but he did talk about playing fast his one season in Paris when he served as a head coach there before coming to the Trailblazers. Slowed it down a little bit, but that's because, again, the personnel. They had to play 𝗵𝗻 as a point forward. He was kind of a battering ram, so he was slowing it down a little bit, got to the line a ton in half court. But I see this Bulls team playing in transition more.
All right, there you go. The vibes are high in Chicago after night 1 of the NBA draft. KC, we appreciate you, my man, putting up another triple-double. Great work, as always. KC's been working today, man. He's been doing so many hits. Yeah, that's KC Johnson, man. He's the hardest working man in the business. But, KC, we appreciate you, my man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, we're going to take another break here on Bulls Draft Night Live, presented by Calamos. But when we return, we'll take a trip down memory lane because in the 1990 NBA draft, somebody went 5th overall to the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know, man. He spent 15 years in the NBA, man. Had a great career. So we'll go down memory lane with that and also look at some of the seismic moves across the NBA this offseason.
With the 5th pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kendall Gill from Illinois.
There is Kendall Gill from the University of Illinois, the 5th pick in the 1990 draft. Kendall Gill didn't play in any of the postseason tournaments, but he certainly had himself a good career at the University of Illinois.
Kendall, your parents were in there smiling and beaming. You came up here with a lot of poise and presence. You know you're going into a tough situation. Your thoughts about going in this position right here, what it means to you now?
Well, first of all, I thank God for giving me the talent to even be considered to play in the NBA. I think I'm going into a good situation because the team is right on the brink of winning, and I'm just really looking forward to playing in the NBA.
Come on now, there he is, smooth as always. You know we had to honor you, KG, since his draft night, going 5th overall to the Charlotte Hornets back in the 1990 NBA draft. Oh, man, look at the wink at the camera. Like, KG knew. That's swag right there. KG winked at the camera like, yeah, Charlotte, you got a good one.
Yeah, hey, listen, I was very excited. As a matter of fact, I still have my draft suit in my closet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and I bought that suit from Sid Jerome downtown, which is Sid Jerome is still open, too.
Okay, shout out Sid Jerome. There we go. Okay.
And shout out to also another fellow Illini who was the 5th pick in the draft tonight, 𝗬𝗏𝗏, definitely deserving of going to the Los Angeles Clippers. So welcome to the family, young fella.
All right, one thing that you remember about draft night, man.
The one thing, eating pizza with my brother after the draft in Greenwich Village on the corner. We thought we were going to celebrate and everything. It was going to be glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
It was me and my brother with a slice of pizza.
All right, man. KG going 5th overall to the Charlotte Hornets back in 1990 and celebrating with a slice of pizza with his brother over there in New York. All right, now, really quickly, seismic move in the NBA. Giannis is not a Milwaukee Buck anymore. He's with the Miami Heat, spent 13 seasons there, won that ship back in 2021. Initial thoughts on what happened with that trade with the Heat?
I was surprised because the Heat gave up so much.
Yes, they did.
They gave up arms, legs, arteries for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he is a generational talent. And also, you throw Bobby Portis in there, and you leave it up to Pat Riley throughout the summer. Free agent signings, you never know what Pat Riley, what he has up his sleeves. This could be a contending team with these two, especially to go alongside Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, Giannis is one of the cheat codes in the NBA, and it's a very easy sell for Pat Riley and that Heat organization to get players down in South Beach to play with Giannis to try and get another chip in the Heat's history.
Do you think Giannis's wife wanted to go to Miami or Boston or Minnesota?
You know what? Looking at the climates of those 3 cities, the 305 sounds nice for sure. Definitely that warmer weather going from Milwaukee to Miami. But KG, before we wrap things up, man, let's take a look back at tonight's top 5 picks of the 2026 NBA draft. And you know who went number 1 overall to the Washington Wizards? A.J. 𝗵𝗏𝗀. This guy was a can't-miss prospect and I think has a big future for himself in the league.
I think the top 4, all of those guys could have been considered the number 1 pick.
Yes.
A.J. 𝗵𝗏𝗀, of course, loaded with talent, led the nation in scoring last year. But Darren Peterson is what it looks like.
Ooh, okay.
I thought that he was going to be number 1.
Yeah. All right, well, the Bulls got the 4th overall pick in Caleb Wilson. Look, the vibes are high here in Chicago. This Bulls organization did it right here.